We live?
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Hello. What's up, guys? I don't know if this.
Hi,
It
everyone.
don't look bright enough. Let's see.
It doesn't look bright enough.
No. Let's see.
Ooh.
It's too bright, right? You look. Let's see. All right.
How's everybody doing?
Hello. You gotta speak louder.
I do.
They can't hear that. I could barely hear you.
You're partially. Hi, everyone.
Oh.
So,
Today's episode is 5, and we are This podcast episode is called "Practice What You Preach." I used to hear that a lot when I was a kid. It's like a lot of old school sayings is popping back up, right? But
right.
yeah, practice what you preach.
Yeah. So, I think that when we were young, we didn't pay attention. Like, that's the whole premise of my book. Like, we didn't listen to those old time sayings that our parents were saying to us. And now they're coming back around because we're realizing that all that stuff was valid, valuable advice that we didn't listen to.
Right.
And now we're trying to.
I take off my socks. Feels good. Yeah. So practice what you preach. That was um, real valid this week for me. What about for you? That phrase. What happened in your life this week that reminded you that you have to practice what you preach?
Well, I think it always comes up where you're I don't want to say we're tested, but we know what we're supposed to do, but when you are in the middle of the battleground, when you're in the middle of life, you got emotions, you got your loved ones, you got people you care about, and you have to make tough decisions. It's We know we're supposed to do whatever, whether it be tough love, whether it be protecting ourselves, whether it be whatever it is. We know what we have to do, but sometimes it's difficult because for a lot of reasons, either we think we're going to hurt someone's feelings, we feel like, you know, we'll be looked at a certain way, or someone's going to misinterpret our motives for what we're doing.
Yeah.
We, and then it's hard sometimes for certain circumstances to take the action to follow through and
That's
protect
necessary to.
ourselves. Is that what you were saying?
Absolutely. Good job. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are we're our main objective here is to protect ourselves, to love ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to pour into ourselves. And I don't know about you, but I had that all the way twisted for a long time. Like, I just thought about everybody else and taking care of everyone else, and what do I have to do? And, I always put myself last. So this season of my life, I'm actually taking steps to do the things that I want to do, that I promised myself I would do, to take care of myself, to protect myself, to keep myself, I can't think of the word, just to pour on me.
Right. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, you said it all, but I think a lot of times we get complacent because the universe, the source, God, whatever you want to say, um, is always testing our faith, right? And our faith at this point, at our in our spiritual journey, is to protect yourself, and you gotta have to set boundaries. And you set boundaries, you get complacent, you be in a nice little stretch where everything is going smooth. And, it depends on what your lifestyle is as well, because sometimes if you're not putting yourself around other people, other energies, other entities, it's like you're shielding yourself away from being battle tested, right? But as of late, we put ourselves in different situations because we have a higher calling, and we have to put ourselves around more people. And uh, putting yourself in these situations for the betterment of ourselves and to help other people, right? And but everybody don't want to be helped. Everybody don't is I mean the second best thing we always say is to lead by example. But some people, um they think they know everything already, or they see your light, they can be jealous of your light. Your light uh makes them reflect on who they really are, and they don't want to be reminded of who they really are. Or they can hate that your light is so bright. Like it's like the light is like kryptonite. Like who was it? Superman or Batman? Superman had
Superman.
his weak powers was kryptonite, right? So our light is like kryptonite, and some people don't want to hear you talk, or they'll make up an excuse to say, "Oh, you're talking too loud," or you're. It's like you're yelling, but I'm talking with passion, right? And I've been talking this way for a long time, and I'm getting my point across, right? And so, but I think that these people just don't like to hear me talking. Period. Even if I do talk softer, because I do talk soft in the right setting. But when you're in a setting where it's a bunch of people and everybody have their opinions, you let sometimes I talk first, sometimes I talk last. Sometimes I want to test myself. I'll let everyone else talk and give their opinion. And then when they say, "Well, what do you think, OG?" And then I give my opinion. And quite a few would be like, "Wow, I never thought of that." And to look at it that way. And but when they're like asking me more questions like da 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 da, and it'll be a few people like sucking their teeth, or like, "But why you gotta be so loud with it, or why you gotta be?" And I'm like, I said, what's the name of the guy? E.T. I think Eric Thomas. He's like one of the top motivational speakers. When you people spend thousands of dollars to hear him speak, and he's always, he, I think I hear myself the way how he delivers his message sometimes, and a lot of people are and trying to dim my light. They'll be like, "Why you got to stop talking? It's like you're talking with anger. That's not anger. It's passion. It's experience. It's knowing that I am right because of all of the testimonies that I get from over the past 20 plus years. Of people telling me, "Thank you, da da da, this and that. You helped me, da da." So that's other people. God sending other people to me to give me confirmation that I am doing the right thing. And I've been talking this way for a minute. And that goes back to stop judging people. Don't judge the messenger, get the message. But if you don't want, if even if I talk quietly, you don't want to hear my voice because I'm speaking the truth. And what they say about the truth hurts. Everybody don't want to hear the truth. So God bless you, because I'm gonna be talking like this because I need to get this message out, and it's working. And if I wasn't getting the message out, I wasn't getting the confirmation, I wouldn't be doing all this. Obviously, I God sends people to me to keep giving me the confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, you was trying to say something. Go ahead.
No, no. You said truth hurts, but the truth also sets you free. So I think that
If you want to hear it, if you want it, that's like people that don't want it. That's hurting them. You know what I mean?
Well, you have to understand that a lot of people don't even realize what it is about you that's bothering them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just know that they're being bothered. About
Excuse me, I just
something
burped.
something about what you're saying or your delivery is triggering something within them.
Right.
But a lot of people who are not on this journey of healing and, you know, figuring out what needs to be looked at or healed or addressed, they're just getting annoyed. But when you have somebody in your life that's triggering you, that's a blessing because it's shining the light on something that you should be looking at. Because
But they're not looking at it like that.
no one should have authority over you or your emotions to make
Awesome.
you that upset,
Awesome. Right.
regardless of what their personality
And how
is.
they're saying it or whatever, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to also say just because you've been doing something for a long time doesn't mean that it's right.
Okay.
Like you said, you've been doing it for a long time. Like I know, um, I'll say with me, I have had a lot of trauma in my life. So my nervous system is or was very unregulated. So um, yelling makes me feel a certain way. It does something to my nervous system
Mm-hmm.
where I like um, more tranquil conversations. I've told you, like, when, you know, you're around your family and you guys all do it, like, this is these, and what people don't understand too is we're all a mixture of our experiences, our upbringing, you know, what we've been through. And yeah, like you probably grew up in a home where everyone had
Oh, I
very
did. I did grow up in a home like that.
well, I yeah, and like I've told you before, like when we go and you guys all get to talking, I like ooh, because it's like everybody is just talking over each other, and
But when like having emotional intelligence, and everybody don't have that, right? When you're dealing with all different walks of life, it's great to have emotional intelligence or a good judge of character because you have to accept people for who they are and deal with them accordingly. Or if they getting on your nerves, don't accept them at all. You know what I mean? But I mean, you're gonna be running all over the place if you don't know how to accept people for who they are and deal with them accordingly. So that's something within yourself that you have to fix. You can't go around telling people how to talk or how to say this or whatever. Get the message. If you don't want to hear nothing, if you think you know everything, then uh, skedaddle. Damn, I skedaddle.
well, see, you're right now you're speaking from emotion,
Okay.
so you know they're speaking from emotion. They don't like what you're saying, they don't like your tone, they don't like you in general. Like that could be it.
That
Like
part.
we talk about that all the time, like how we're misunderstood a lot and people just don't like us,
Right.
period. Like for no reason.
Right. And that's cool.
And it is
Yeah.
it that's a them thing. But you have to too remember to, when you're teaching somebody a lesson, they're also teaching you a lesson.
Yeah.
Like the, it's always a reciprocal relationship.
Always.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the main thing is the why is whatever is bothering you. Why is it bothering you? Like you need to address that. So I've had situations where certain personality types just annoy me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I've like sat with that and thought about it and really pondered why do I care so much? And it was always something within me that was like buried really deep, where you have to like peel away the layers of the onion to
What?
get to figure out what it is that's
Mhm.
really bothering you,
Right.
because no one should affect
Okay.
you
So
like that.
what was the solution? What did you come up with? Why was that type of energy bothering you?
Because so it had a lot to do with like core wounds, like whatever your core wounds are. We all have core wounds. We have things that have happened to us, usually in childhood. You know, maybe you were embarrassed in school by a certain type of personality, like a bully, or, you had like a know it all, or somebody who was always running their mouth and thought they knew everything and trying to make you look, feel small. Like you can always like follow the cord and find out what it is
If you
that
want, if you
originated.
want to figure it out, that's the
Right.
hard part. You got to really want to heal.
Right.
But if you don't, you're gonna have these triggers, and you're gonna be blown up all the time, giving somebody else power over your mind, body. And so, take your power back and do the shadow work so you can heal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what you're in control of your own reality. Stop letting people trigger you like that. You know what I mean? But it takes a lot of work.
Right.
It takes a lot of work. And even though we know all this stuff, it's still
People can
people that can
still
trigger us because
trigger.
it catches you off guard, like we were saying earlier in this piece, that we get complacent sometimes, you know what I mean? And that's a measuring stick, right? On how blessed we really are to see that that person either reminded us how we used to be, or that we still have uh a long way to go, but we're much better than what we used to be, right?
Hmm.
And that's great. I think that all of this is necessary. Like when you said, when you trigger someone else, they're also trigger you. We both have a lesson to learn with that just one situation, right? Or that one instance, or that one scenario.
Right. Even if,
But you're not gonna get it if you're not conscious of that.
right.
And I
That's the
believe
whole
that
point.
when you're looking at life and journeying through life from a spiritual perspective, everything becomes much more clearer, right? And but also, like I said, we still will have triggers. That's our human self battling with our spiritual self. But when you're tapped into your spiritual self, you can identify that immediately, or faster than the average person that is stuck.
Right. I think that when you're on your spiritual journey, you realize that nothing is meaningless. So everything that comes into your
It
life
happens
is
for a
for a
reason.
reason. It's
Hmm.
trying to show you something, it's trying to remind you of something, it's trying to teach you something. And everybody you encounter is for a reason,
Abs-
season, we
Absolutely.
so today I went for a walk with my daughter, and I was like, there's no one there's no one out. Like, where is everybody? And it's like downtown Dallas. You know, when we were out this evening, it was like flooded. But it was around lunch time, and there was nobody out, and I was kind of just like, where is everybody? But yeah, I think as you go along on your journey, if you're tapped in, you start to notice different things, different patterns. Like if there's something that you need to learn, people are going to come into your life, things are going to happen, and then there's these lulls where nothing is going on, and that's where you get complacent, right? Because if you're in a lull for a long time, you're like, oh, this is great. Like,
That's what I'm
I'm just
saying.
coasting through life,
Right.
and then bam, you
Mm-hmm.
get hit that wall,
And
or you
it's necessary because that's those lessons to me is telling you that you set boundaries before, and now you got complacent with setting those boundaries because you was lackluster and not being around, right? But now that you put yourself out there, This is like, oh crap, and that's the universe, God, keeping you battle tested, right? And it's great when you set those boundaries and you hold firm to them, and then when you hold firm to them, all of that negative entity that was around, it dissipates because you stood strong with your boundaries.
Right. I think, going back to the analogy of this being a game, like let's look at it as a video game. So you have to beat something for each level, and then you can level up.
Right.
Once you figure out, you know, save the princess, whatever you're trying to do, each round.
Is that a game? Save the
Mario.
princess? Huh?
Mario.
Mario?
Didn't you have to save the princess? You didn't play
I
video
don't. I
games?
really didn't play video games. I was too busy cutting hair.
Well, yeah, every level. Okay, I know you did the Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Damn.
I'm
My
showing
cousin
my
had the
age.
game. That my cousin had the game when I used to go over his house.
You would
I
play.
played it a couple times.
So
Yeah.
you couldn't just go and fight Mike Tyson. You had to
Get to
go
levels to
through
that.
all the levels.
What was that?
to,
Atari? That was
I
Atari,
don't
right?
even remember. It had
It
to
might
be.
not even been Atari. It was that was like a little handheld game, right?
No, I used to play it on the
On the
TV.
TV, black
You
and
did?
white TV.
No. Stop it.
But
So, right. So I think that you're presented at your next, right before your next level up, you're presented with something that you have to overcome.
or bombarded with something,
Or
you have to.
bombarded sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
sometimes
get
it's
hit from
bombarded,
every side,
right? And
angle.
but when you're battle tested, obviously we're battle tested because we've gotten this far already. It just reminds you of an entity that you dealt with before, or plenty of entities you dealt with before,
Personalities.
personalities. But
I got you on the entities.
well, I mean, sometimes the devil got some strong soldiers
Right.
out here.
That's another
You know
point.
what I mean? And so it can be personalities or entities, but sometimes it's entities,
Right.
right? Let's call a spade when it is. And
Well, yeah, go ahead.
and so you're like, okay, I've dealt with this before. I know how to handle it. It's just caught me off guard because having empathy for people, you giving them the benefit of the doubt, and when people tell you certain things about them, and it gives me, I'm just a caring person like that. I used to hate that about myself, but I don't anymore because it made all of the things I've been through made me who I am today, and I love who I am today. But you have to go right back to them boundaries again and be like, nah, I'm not, because otherwise you're not learning your lesson, right? And if I don't handle this right now, it's gonna keep reoccurring, and you feel it in your gut, right? Your gut has a brain, and when your gut is telling you, okay, what you gonna do, playboy? You know what I
Right.
mean?
So you said you got the lesson. Yeah, it comes back around. You say, "Okay, I got the lesson. I'm supposed to do this. Supposed to hold firm to my boundaries. I'm supposed to not let people come in and manipulate me or take advantage of my kindness, and I'm supposed to hold firm." And then you're like, "Okay, I got it." And then it's like, "Okay, let's see if you really got it."
Right, and it could come years later. It can come, you know what I mean? So with me, I've been in the studio for the cutting hair for the past since 2020. The pandemic was
2020.
2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from 2020 until now, I'm exposed to more people, right? On a daily basis, the same entities or the same personalities, right? Some are entities and some are personalities. And like some of the people that have the entities inside of them, they don't even know it.
Right. That was what I was gonna say.
And that's where I still have the empathy for them, because wow, they don't even, they can't. But then again, some people hold on to that to protect them. But you was about to say what?
So a lot of people they're coming from it from their mindset, right? And they're thinking that you're wrong. They're thinking that they're right, you know, just like we're looking at things from our perspective of we're holding firm to our boundaries. They're looking at it from the perspective of, I didn't do anything wrong. This person is trying. You're triggering them, so it's like a battle almost, which they're not. They can never look in the mirror and say, "Yeah, like I'm trying to manipulate this person," because people are just acting out of their fear, acting out of whatever the negative emotions. And then when you're in a negative emotion, like I was telling you, we were watching Ghostbusters last night, the new Ghostbusters movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it in the movie. They were like, okay, there's these spirits and ghosts that they can attach to you, but you have to have negative thoughts and you have to have trauma, right?
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
So
We was like, oh, yeah.
So a person comes in, they have trauma because you can't be
Everybody has trauma.
a human being on the
without
planet
trauma,
Earth
right.
without trauma. So you have trauma,
Built up trauma from a kid all the way up until
your
today.
generational trauma,
Right.
all that stuff.
Right.
So you have trauma, and then you start having a negative emotion. So
Triggers.
Let's just say what you were talking about for an example. So someone's in your shop, client, barber, whoever the hell. They're in your shop and then they have trauma, and then you're talking, and then that negative voice in their head says, "Man, he never shuts up." Like, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a negative thought. So you have that one negative thought, and then yes, your mind is going to start feeding that thought and giving you evidence to support that thought, right? Now you have another negative thought. Boom, you open yourself up to an entity, an attachment to come in, and then they start whispering in your ear,
gassing you up,
like, "Look at this."
Yeah. Oh, you got the twisted face.
They're in your ear and they're saying things and feeding you thoughts, and then it becomes almost, it's hard to pull yourself out of that loop once you get in that spiral and you have an entity where a lot of people don't realize that this is happening. Like, those negative thoughts are not yours.
You are not your thoughts.
Right.
Oh, you are not your thoughts, people.
Like,
remember that.
These are other
I put my hat on
things whispering in your ear, like feeding you negative thoughts. It's negative entities. They're entities. They're spirits. They're
absolutely.
So you can't even be mad at them. That's
that's
why
it takes
earlier. Like, you got to feel sorry for them. You want to help them, but you can't.
Want more for somebody else than they want for
themselves. They gotta figure that. They gotta come to the realization,
right,
and want to change and want to be free of this stuff and want.
Go ahead and want what?
Well, they gotta want different,
right?
And it comes with a lot of hard work. But like for me, when I realized what the heck was going on, it's like I'm taking my power back. Like, I'm not letting no low
vibration
things sitting here in my ear trying to get me to,
right.
Because I've said, like, I used to.
A peace of mind is priceless. You got to protect yourself at all times.
Yeah, I used to be getting in arguments with people and just feeding it, and like.
Now they have you out of your character, but right. You're feeding what they used to all day, every day.
Right. Well.
And you lose.
Right.
So a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. It's lowering your vibration. It's now.
And that's your fault because you allow that to happen.
Well, yeah, and it's easy to become a victim of this and not realize what's happening.
Well,
because we have trauma.
Well, I mean, like we said earlier, I heard what you just said, but at this point in my life, I catch on to it quicker than when I used to back in the days.
That's the point.
Because you get a lot of people that everything that you said, but you got some people that, they some might know, and some people say, you know what, I'm gonna be this person because I'm protecting myself, and they know they could be assholes, or they know they can be who they are. They accept it and they love it because the human mind can only take but so much more trauma. So you become a monster, and some people don't realize it, but everybody else can see it. Or they start projecting who they are onto everyone else. So when you hear somebody that has trauma and that has triggers that makes you into a narcissist or whatever you want to call it, you start projecting who you are onto everybody else because just like they say, people can you. It's quick for us to call everybody else on their own shit, but we don't want to see our own shit. But a lot of people be projecting, and it's like when you hear them talking about who you are or explaining to people who you are, you'd be like, God damn, they talking about themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
And,
they
and you'd
don't
be like, oh my God, yo, this is it's that, and that's scary.
Twilight Zone.
It's kind of scary because then you become a person that emphatically believes your own lies. So that's the most scariest person in the world who believe their own lies, and you're sitting up there like, look, because man, I know who I am, right? And that's a scary thing when somebody is projecting. Whew.
Well,
And
right.
you know what I say to those people? God bless you.
The
Because you can't help them because they're so enthralled into their own belief. And all you got to do, like, I just start praying for those people right there, and like just hoping that, because I'm not gonna allow them to drag me into that, because they'll put you through a whole whirlwind, if you would allow them to. And I'm like, yo, I felt this numerous of times before. And so I was like, oh snap, you can start smiling now because, oh, I know this ain't me. You know what I mean? God bless you. I'm praying for you. You know what I mean?
yeah, the human mind has always fascinated me where, you know, you can be in a situation with a group of people, and then when you ask them each to recount what happened, everybody has a different story
Right,
because
right.
everybody has a different filter, a
Yeah,
different lens.
absolutely.
So it's always been fascinating to me to where, like you said, where someone believes their lies, or if
Right.
someone has fed themselves a story for so long that they believe it. It's true, and then they tell other people the story, and everyone else would believe them because they believe it, because to them it's true.
Well,
But then
because when somebody believes their own lies, when they're telling a story, they sound extremely
convincing
convincing.
because they believe it,
Right.
of course. And then you have, you know, the other side of the story who was just like, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't feed into that. Like,
Right.
I
And you
can't
just
go
and then the
there.
people who believe their story, God bless all of them.
My,
And you're not getting
right.
into that back and forth with trying to prove who you are to everybody. I don't care about none of that because I know who I am. You know what I mean? And I know I'm a good person. I have good, and you can't. I don't. I really believe that I couldn't get this far without having empathy, without having a good heart with good intentions for everybody. I tell everybody, I really believe that the foundation to your success, and when I say success, I don't mean about money or none of that. It's just to find that balance. On the balance, you find harmony. And to have that complete feel good of yourself, it starts with a strong foundation of having a good heart with good intentions for everybody. You cannot want more for yourself and wish bad on everybody else. It don't work like that. And I tell people, even if you have that thought in your head, you're still putting that into the universe, and you're gonna miss your blessings 100% of the time. It
Right.
don't work like that.
So I always want to give a solution to a problem if I'm discussing a problem. So the solution to those negative thoughts is to immediately reverse them, to immediately catch them and replace them with positive thoughts. And you're going to want to like if you can catch that first thought, that's great, and then replace it with like 3 positive thoughts. But if you're like really far into the that spiral of doom,
Entities.
doom entities, you know, you gotta really, really filter, flush your mind with positivity, and do things to raise your vibration so that you can pull yourself out of that as soon as you realize that you're having these thoughts.
But you have to already put yourself into a conscious effort on catching those things, because
Well,
people can tell you that, but if you don't own up to it yourself, you're not gonna be accountable for none of
well,
that
we're
to get
talking
there.
about the people who
Who
want
wants to be
to
better? There you
be
go.
better,
Right.
who are listening to what we're saying and saying,
Exactly.
you know what, yeah, like I've been there.
Right.
I want to pull myself out of that. I don't want a entity taking
That's
over
right.
my mind. Like I
That's
want
right.
to take my power back. So these are the
Mm-hmm.
ways that you could take your power back, you know.
Yeah.
And then for me, when I first started my healing process and realizing and catching these thoughts, like I had the sticky notes all over the mirror to like remind myself to say positive things. Like as soon as I get up in the morning, because you can fall into that loop, like right before your feet hit the ground to start your day.
Well, I know you came a long way. You came a long way, man. Them sticky notes helped you. They used to be all over the place.
Yeah.
God bless you, man.
Yeah.
That's good for you. Don't it feel much better, much more better to have taken your power back? It feels so good and light and airy, and
Absolutely.
yeah, it feels great. And then when you're in that mindset, your spiritual mindset, man, you start attracting who you are, right? And then, but those energies and those personalities will come and test you all the time. But for the most part, man, I focus on the love. I don't focus on the hate. The hate always is there. But when you don't focus on it, it dissipates. When you
When you
focus on it
feed
and
it,
give it energy,
right.
it'll linger and it'll
Right.
stay, because they're feeding off of them. They're feeding off of you, responding to that. You feel me?
Right. Like if I wanted to go super deep and talk about how we're all being manipulated and, you know, our negative emotions are fueling this.
Oh, you're talking about this time frame where the fourth, the
I'm
what?
just talking about like how we've been manipulated for
Forever.
forever,
Yeah.
and how our negative emotions are fueling this system that we're all tired of, right?
Right.
But I'm not gonna go
Yeah,
there.
that's a whole nother
I'm
podcast
gonna,
if we choose to.
but I think another thing that would be beneficial is realizing when you're dealing with an entity, right? So, when another person is engaging with you and they're saying things to try to trigger you, and they're like, the things that they're saying are so below the belt, or they're like really touching like wounds that they don't even know about.
Some of them do know. Some people do know, but keep going.
Well, that's a good way to know that you're not dealing with the person's words. It's coming from something else, because, you know, they don't know. Like it's happened to me. I've gotten into discussions with people. I'm not even going to say arguments because I wasn't arguing back, but you know, the things that they were saying to me, if I hadn't done my shadow work, would have like triggered the mess out
And
of
that's what
me.
I'm saying. You was tapped
But
into your spiritual self, so you knew it was a test. It was a lesson.
well, not necessarily a test or a lesson. I know that they're dealing with something, you know, a negative attachment or something like that.
But if
That's
you wasn't
how
on your
you can
spiritual
address.
self, you wouldn't have
But
realized
I'm
that.
telling the people how to pick up on it,
Mm-hmm.
um, to pick up and notice.
Right.
because, and that's why shadow work is important too, because for me, like there isn't anything that anybody can say to me that's going to make me feel bad because I've already accepted every part of me, everything I've ever done in this lifetime that I can remember, like everything. I've accepted it. I said, you know, it is what it is, and I'm doing better. And now there's nothing that anybody can say that's going to trigger me or make me feel a way that they can play on my emotions because I love and accept myself, all parts of myself. I don't try to pretend that I'm this wonderful person. I know that, like, at, with a switch, I could cuss you out like a dog. And it is what it is. Like, if you deserve it, not saying that coming from a triggered place, but if if I've had to deal with someone who was constantly pushing my boundaries and testing me and trying to get over, and I can flip the switch and bring whatever it is that you're bringing to me. I can do that. So
Matching that energy when necessary.
when necessary, I don't live there, but I can go there.
Right.
So yeah.
And that's good to have. And that's what we talked about before all the time. Growing up on this earth, we call the belly of the beast. You develop all these different personalities in order to survive out here. But your spiritual self, when you tap in, has to become the CEO of all of those other personalities, which are necessary to survive even under the height of your spiritual self, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, here, fix that. I'm hot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So where are we going with the conversation?
Um. Well, the practice what you preach.
Yeah.
Oh snap! We stuck.
We are.
Oh man, this is not good. All right. So
I think we said a lot. I think we got a lot of good things out.
yeah.
Um,
So do you want to talk about the lesson that you learned today? What lesson did you learn today when you was out with your daughter,
no, it was just
but with the guy?
that there's a lot of creeps in the world. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Oh, okay.
No, just going back to that, nothing is coincidental, especially you start to notice that when you're on your healing journey or a spiritual journey or whatever, um, that nothing is coincidental, and every person that comes into your life is trying to teach you something. And the only thing that we can do is worry about ourselves, right? And
Not
just,
worry about yourself.
huh? No,
Fix yourself.
it was like a meme where the little
Yeah.
girl said, "Worry about yourself." So
Yeah.
I was tapping into that. But right, you're only responsible for yourself, your reactions, your healing, your all of that stuff.
And you can't be mad at nobody else but yourself if you keep allowing the same things to happen over and over again. Get the lesson, learn the lesson.
Well, yeah, and I'm just saying, like, if someone is triggering you, or if something keeps presenting in your life, to stop and investigate it, look a little deeper, and say, okay, why is this upsetting me? Why is this annoying me? Am I why am I even thinking about it, right? Because if you're thinking about it, like a lot of times stuff happens and I'll just like laugh it off and keep going, and then maybe if somebody else brings it up, I'll be like, oh, I forgot that happened. But when you're thinking about it, when it stays on your mind and you're thinking about it, and then it's it's affecting you and how you carry yourself, because you're like, all right, well, maybe I shouldn't be so loud, or whether that's a good or a bad thing, you have to investigate that within yourself to see, should you take the advice and say, okay, maybe I should tone it down, and or no, this is who I am. I have good intentions, and I'm not trying to.
Right, because people gotta have, what's the word, discernment, or they gotta know that if you don't know, if you can't see that it's coming from a good place, and you just maybe don't want to hear me speak positive, that's something they gotta deal with.
Or it could be that you overtalk everybody. So I'm not going to say that you don't, because you overtalk. You overtalk. Like if I'm,
I'm not doing it today,
you're
and
not,
we
and
having
that's
quiet
beautiful.
moments.
Oh, now
I'm
you
falling
gonna
back.
blame me for the quiet moment. I'm just
But no,
saying.
all of this is necessary to heal and to identify with that, because all of this, if you don't, it ages you from the inside out, and you feel terrible. You start to look terrible. So take your power back and heal, man, because you giving all of these energies and people, personalities, power over you, man. You got to heal, man. It feels good to be able to catch all this stuff, so you don't let it fester inside of you and make you feel older than what you really are, and make you look older than what you really are. And you got to get tired, man. And you are in control of your own destiny, man. So I mean, it feels great to be on this journey. It feels great, man. And that's why we're doing this podcast, because we have empathy for people, and we feel great on where we're at. And we're gonna say this every podcast, because we're doing it because people have been telling us we should do a podcast for a long time. They love our energy. They feel our energy. A lot of people want what we have, and we're just giving them the blueprint that we use to get here. And it's a million ways to skin a cat, but this is what we know. So we're not telling y'all what to do. We're just telling y'all what worked for us.
Right.
And we have testimonies of helping people. And that's another, we get confirmation all the time that we're doing the right thing. So we're getting a lot of confirmation now that, a lot of text messages, DMs, messages like, man, you guys are awesome. I love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. So, um, well, we know we was gonna go every week with doing this, but to hear you guys saying that we're giving you guys good information that is helping people, that's great. Keep doing that, because we need that, and it makes us feel great that we're reaching people, man. And so yeah,
Right.
keep letting us know.
Right. That we're doing the right thing. We wanted to help, and we wanted to help on a broad scale, because um, you know one
Well,
on one is
right.
one thing, but that's kind of why we wrote the books, and we have more books, but writing books takes a lot of time, so we figured maybe this would be a better way to reach more people, to help.
Absolutely. I mean, and I hear it all the time that do a podcast, do a podcast. You guys have books. You guys are inspiring. I love your energy. I love the way you talk. Some people, like the other day, this lady was like, "Are you into ministry? You should be into ministry." And I'm like, "Well, no, we started a podcast. That is our ministry, right?" And then I told her my barber chair is my pulpit for individually. You know what I mean? But now being back in the shop, all ears are wide open if they want. You know what I mean? So, and I believe everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Even though I heard people saying that, we're supposed to be speaking on a grand scale, on a stage, whatever, whatever. But I, I feel like I'm doing my part, and whatever is meant for me is not going to miss me. I think everything is like a book, chapters. I think I needed to open up a shop again, before maybe all of that stuff happens. You know what I mean? It's preparing me for something
Levels.
grandioso.
Levels.
Levels.
Yeah, a lot of people either stop us or comment about
So
that
many times
what
that people do that.
that we look young, and
Right. Did you
we
dye
always
your beard, or did you dye your hair, right?
we always say it's healing. It's
That's
healing.
exactly, no, we don't say it, we mean it. And that's
But
what
I'm
it
just
is.
saying that's the response that
Absolutely.
we're healing. We're
Right.
not holding on to pain and hurt and anger. Those are the things that age you
Right.
quickly.
So if you want to look like this,
Oh gosh.
I'm not tooting my own horn or nothing,
It
but
sounds like you are.
huh?
It sounds like you
I'm
are.
not. I mean, I hear it all the time, and they make me look in the mirror. I like, oh snap! But I tell them, the only thing I could tell you is that I heal. They was like, do you drink a lot of water? Do I drink a lot of water?
No, you need to drink some water.
See, I.
Wait.
But no, I think I drink more water than the average. But I can't say that. But
No.
I don't drink a lot of water.
No.
Okay, see, I don't drink a lot of water, but it's because I healed. I forgave. I continue. I forgive all the time. You got to keep forgiving the people that hurt you over and over again, because we don't forget, right? And sometimes you'd be like, "Damn, I can't believe I forgave this motherfucker." You know what I mean? But it feels great. You take your power back, and it keeps you looking young and fresh and fly and cool.
I can't.
Nah, but it feels good, man. So this is our answer for you guys, man. Heal, forgive, feels great. Make a conscious effort to do all that stuff, man. Pray, manifest. If you got a partner, y'all do that together, man. It feels great. So you could become one. And wow, this is my dog right here. I always tell her we got I got this hashtag thing. I always say, thank you for coming to get me, because I truly believe that God sent her in my life to catapult my spirituality, man. Because and then we needed each other, man. We helped each other heal, and we're so grateful of one another. Uh, best friend, spiritual partner, business partner, uh, comedians. Everything is all in house. Look. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. And people hit us up all the time, man. We want that. I want that, man. What do I do? How do you know when you got the right person? How do you da da? And the answer to that, man, I tell them, man, if you really want this, from my perspective, the perspective of a spiritual barber, on a shameless plug from the book. Um, yeah, I believe our ultimate self is our spiritual self, man. And I think when you're looking at life through a spiritual lens, you know, you think different. Things is more clearer. Um, it's just amazing. So I will never stop allowing the spirit of God to manifest within me. It saved my life. Uh, it's beautiful, man. I want to thank my moms, my auntie, and all my aunties, and my grandma. Oh my God, grandma, she was amazing. And she's still here protecting all of us. I feel her energy. It's amazing. All of our ancestors, my uncle, your pops. When you pray, when you speak to your ancestors, man, and let them know that you're thankful and that you talk to them, they you can feel their presence, man, and they come around. You know what I mean? That's another thing, right? Uh, it's a beautiful. It's just I can't. Go ahead, take over.
I was listening to one of Dolores Cannon's old like seminars or lectures or something, and she said when you are um, living your purpose and working your passion or something to that effect, don't quote me on the exact words, that you don't age and you don't get sick
When you're what?
when you're living your purpose. Because you I mean, if you think about it, you can't just jump into your purpose,
right,
right? Because yes, a lot of people can be working in their purpose, but to ultimately be fulfilling the purpose of why you came here, you have to heal, you have to clear out all that ugly stuff. You have to go on this journey.
so it seemed like everybody got the same purpose: to learn their lesson, to heal, so they can help
No,
everybody else.
but everybody else has a different way to do it, right? So
Right,
I
but
call it
my
medicine,
right,
right? Like this is the real medicine. Like you have a specific medicine that reaches a specific target audience. Like you know, you're helping a lot of men. You have, from your life experiences and all the things that you have, you're going to attract a certain group of people that kind of resonate with the medicine that you have. We all like, this is so divinely orchestrated. We couldn't do this on our own.
right.
So everybody, from their life lessons and their view and their personality, they're going to attract their group of people. Everybody has different healing modalities. But if, like, what I'm seeing is just a bunch of people coming out now wanting to help in different ways. It's like the healing process it takes a lot. Like you have to hit it from all different angles, especially how long you've been living with this trauma that you haven't addressed, how much trauma you have. Everybody's story is different. Like in my own journey, I tackled it with a lot of different things as we discussed. So it's it's gonna take all of that and so many people coming at it from different angles to really ascend and heal and help everybody on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's like, you always talk about the choice, right? There's a group of people who are kind of like in this lifetime, they're focused on their self, right? And they don't really care about anybody else. They're just, whatever their goals or whatever they're trying to accomplish, they're going to accomplish it. But then there's a group of us who are really wanting to help and be of service to others. And I think that we are, being faced with these challenges of standing our ground, let's say. I don't like that word, but like holding our boundaries and just continuously evolving so that we can truly step into what we came here to do. Because you can't just jump there. Like, everybody's talking about, oh, I want to find my purpose. I want to find my purpose. But I feel like there is there's a journey to that. There's a process, the levels you have to go through. And then we shouldn't compare ourselves to anyone else because everybody has a specific journey, of specific
Everybody path is uniquely critiqued for them.
right, and they have a specific purpose that they're,
Right.
some people are just holding this light.
Right, and I asked you that question because a lot of people say, "What is my purpose?"
Right.
Or when you on your spiritual self, is all are all a purpose the same, to help people? But yeah, it's to
It's,
help people,
but
but
you
in
can
different
help
ways.
in different ways. You can,
Everybody have a different tongue, a different way to reach people. You know what I mean?
it could be through art and just
Right.
making things beautiful and
Yeah.
opening people's eyes to beauty and
But it's all with good heart and good intentions for everyone to help, to
yeah.
raise this level of love, vibration, the spirituality on this planet Earth. And that's what it's about, to help others raise their vibration. If you're raising your vibration, even if you're not already there, help other people, bring them on the journey with you if they want it. You know what I mean?
That's the other thing. Like we can't help everybody. We
Want
want to
more for
take
everybody
everybody
than they
with
want for
us,
themselves.
but everybody's on
Just
their
not gonna
unique,
get it.
well, they're
And
on
we
their
need those
journey. They're on their journey. They're going to get it
when
when
they're supposed to,
they're
even if it's a
supposed
next
to.
lifetime.
I mean, yeah, you have to go through certain things because it's all specific to
Like a
whatever.
book. You
Right.
can't get to this chapter until you figure this chapter out. And if they stuck in that chapter and we 50 chapters ahead of them, you know,
If we wait, then we're
stagnating
stagnating.
ourselves. So the second best thing we could do is lead by example and inspire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest uh, lessons, I think, is
Oh no, I mean it is at the beginning. You're talking about wanting more for other people.
right, or just
Well, after you realize that it can you can hurt you could drive yourself crazy trying to beat somebody in the head with, but when you know what they need and they just don't see it or they don't want it,
well, they're
I
not.
learned to like let that go because it's exhausting.
Well, it's not even that they don't want it. It's like they're not
They're
ready.
not
Like
ready, but
everybody gets activated or turned
when
on
it's their
at
time, but
right.
it's extremely exhausting, and that was one of the best things I ever learned. You know what I mean? Oh, I gotta let this go. This is not for them right now. You know what I mean? And what I realize is when you attract who you are, and if those people are around that you want the best for them and they don't want it, when they hear you having these like-minded conversations with other people and we're finishing each other's sentence, and that's inspiring to a lot of people. I love when I coming all the way down here and I'm attracted to like-minded people and I get to talk, because for me talking is therapy, right? I need that. It's releasing, it's giving me confirmation, we're giving each other confirmation. I mean, and that's how this the soldiers are, the light workers. That's how we are, right? We're giving each other confirmation and it feels amazing. And so that's why I love being back in the shop. Being in a studio, you become complacent, it gets boring. um even working amongst other barbers, you're picking up other ideas, and and being in a barber shop, it's like a poor man's country club. You get to unite with other men from all walks of life, realizing that now I must admit that, but your shop is an extension of who you are as a leader, as the owner of a shop, right? So whatever energy you got, that's the type of energy that you are going to attract in each shop. So, if you go on Google and look at our reviews, that's what a lot of people say, like the energy, you know what I mean? And I just wanna thank myself for allowing the spirit of God once again to manifest within me, because I'm spreading that light, and it feels great to have total control of that again at this go round in my life. And like the reviews are testimonies, you know what I mean? And when I read the reviews, man, I just man, it's extremely humbling, you know what I mean, to be able to do this again. So it's like, it's not even like, because in a private studio, it's really just one on one. But now opening up a shop again, like this is the community's clubhouse. People say this is my shop. This is my shop, and that feels good to hear people say that. And wow, to be able to create that this go round with a stronger spiritual me.
Mm. Yeah, I think that everyone is starting to realize that.
We're all in this together. Sorry. You wasn't gonna say that, but go ahead.
No, we need each other.
Yeah.
Community is everything.
Absolutely.
We can't do this alone. We can't do this in isolation and hermit mode. We got to come out at a certain point
Right.
and pool our resources
Yeah.
and yeah, make this world a better place.
All right. And I'm getting a lot of, not a lot, but I'm getting every now and then I'll get a barber that's been waiting for something like a shop like this to happen, because shops did scare a lot of people who didn't want to be around all of the drama that barbershops used to have or could still have based on who is the leader of that shop or what that leader is
Right.
allowing to happen in the shop.
Right.
But they're watching. That's the dope thing now. Social media, everybody can watch, and they're waiting and they're being patient and they're seeing. Because I'm new to this area, right? And barbers are going from place to place all over. A lot of these barbers that are with me now, they used to work with each other at some point in time, or they used to be in other shops, and they all have horrifying stories. And being in a private studio for a long time. It was great for a while, but now people getting tired of that. They love that sense of community, that camaraderie in the shop, but the energy has to be right. And the interviews that I had the past couple of days, man, good energy people, right? And but and I'm giving it to them right up front on what I expect and what I can tolerate and what I can't tolerate. And I'm letting them know up front. And they know who they are if we're compatible or not, right? But and I know that, you know, right now we live in a time where the vibration is raising higher, and I feel a lot of love right now. But like I said, I focus on that. So you attract who you are, and that's what the universe is bringing me right now. And they can feel it too when they come in, and we're both excited. You know what I mean? Because that community, man, that togetherness is dope, and that's what I love about opening up a shop, man. I missed this, and I get to do it again, and wow, it's great. And then the clients, their clients are extensions of who they are, which are an extension of who I am. So it's one big extension cord of lightness,
Electricity.
like-mindedness, electricity, uh,
Yeah,
universeness.
I think
Uh,
I think they
is
get
that a
it.
word? They got
I
it.
think that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, man. But all my people back home,
I
like I
miss
say,
y'all.
miss y'all. I love y'all. We good down here, man. Few of y'all hitting me up saying you coming to check me. Can't wait for that. But no matter where you go, you attract who you are. So we good. I know some of y'all was worried about me, but God is good, man. You attract who you are. I think that's it. Uh, I keep. Is it an order? It's no particular order. Like, subscribe, share, comment. What's the big one that really gets the momentum going, the algorithm going? Is it all of those, or is it one big one? Right? Is it the likes, or the
Um,
views? It's the views. Yeah, it's the views, right? Yeah.
well, subscribe
So,
and yeah, keep letting us know how we're doing,
yeah.
what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, that's dope.
Stay
Yeah, yeah,
engaged.
yeah. Let us know what y'all want to talk about. But we come up with stuff every week. We're gonna have to start incorporating more uh titles to the podcast, right?
What do you mean?
Well, that'll have to take that might be like a 2 hour
You
podcast
mean
of
like talk about more?
subjects. Yeah,
Well, I think that we'll come up with the topic, but we don't know where it's gonna go.
yeah, yeah. We,
Right?
we do say that every time. Right. All right.
Love you
Uh
guys. Oh,
drop a gem.
so I'm gonna say be conscious of your thoughts and take inventory of what you're thinking periodically throughout the day. See if you can catch and reverse those negative thoughts.
Absolutely. And I want to say, set those boundaries for yourself. Don't let nobody break those boundaries, man, because you create boundaries when you know that it when you don't, it throws you off course. So when you set those boundaries, that'll help keep you on course to the light at the end of the tunnel.
Beautiful.
Boundaries is very necessary, right? Peace
Peace.
and love. See y'all next week.
Love you guys.
Love you all.
I can't see, the lights are so bright.